Hey guys, it's Shiny here. So a few months back, I made a tutorial for the Plants vs. Zombies speedrunning category known as World Keys. And since then, a lot more runners have joined PvZ2 and done World Keys attempts. And I felt that my original tutorial wasn't nearly as good as I could have made it. So I decided that I wanted to make a new version that hopefully will go over most of the important stuff needed for World Keys so people can improve their times more efficiently. So, before we get into the actual run itself, the question must be asked, what is World Keys? World Keys is basically a category in Plants vs. Zombies 2 where you complete the first 6 levels of Ancient Egypt and obtain the World Keys. This is the shortest category in the game, and it's the most optimized by far, and it's the category I have world record in. But, so yeah, inside World Keys, there's 2 versions of it. Free-to-play and purist free-to-play. Now you may ask, what's the difference between the two, and what do they mean in the first place? Well, for free-to-play, one thing I should mention beforehand, we do not allow any real money purchases. So, no microtransactions at all are allowed, because that would give an unfair advantage to people who are willing to put money in compared to people who won't. So, microtransactions are banned entirely from every category. But anyways, now the question must be asked, what's the difference between F2P and PF2P? F2P stands for free-to-play. That means that you're allowed to use in-game currency like coins, gems, the Zen Garden, and power-ups, stuff like that, and upgrading plants. You're allowed to do that at any time in free-to-play, just as long as it doesn't involve, doing things outside of the game, like using real money or watching ads to obtain it. Meanwhile, purist free-to-play, you are not allowed to make any purchases, even with in-game currency, that is not mandatory. So, for example, in a level where, in free-to-play, you would be allowed to use the power-ups, like Power Lightning, Power Toss, and Power Snow, at any time, as long as you had the coins. In purist free-to-play, you're only allowed to use those power-ups in the level they're introduced in because you have to use them. So, basically, purist free-to-play, you're not allowed to make any purchases that aren't mandatory. Meanwhile, in free-to-play, you're allowed to make purchases with in-game currency, as long as you don't use any real money to obtain that in-game currency. So that's the difference between the two categories. And in World Keys, the only difference between the two is in the last 2 levels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through the first 6 levels first as purist free-to-play, and then go back and show what to do differently in level 5 and 6 in free-to-play. So, without further ado, what we do at the beginning is you have to exit the game and then re-enter it for every attempt. This is because if you don't do this, then the seed, the RNG seed, will not be randomized. You have to close the game for it to be randomized. So So when submitting a video for this category, make sure you show yourself either exiting the game or entering the game on the main loading screen. But anyways, so without further ado, let's get into the run itself. So first, you delete your current save file and make a new one. And then you start the game. So, some general things to know is, when it comes to this, is that there are some strats that, like I do in my world record runs, that I would not recommend doing early on. I'll show them off when we get to them. That only save a few seconds, generally. But anyways, so here is the screen that asks you if you want to do the tutorial. We do not do the tutorial in this run, so we hit skip over, and time starts when you hit skip over. So anyways, we get to this screen, which is the sauce. Now, when it comes to picking up the sauce optimally, you want to be tapping in the area right to the left of the little pebble that you can see under the sauce to, like, the right. You want to be tapping, like, just to the left of that to get an optimal sauce pickup. So anyways, let's pick up the sauce. Now, one thing that you will want to know is how to tap through text fast. I made a whole video on this a while back. I'll have the link for that in the description, along with the world records for both free-to-play and Pierce free-to-play. But anyways, when it comes to tapping through text, you want to use anywhere from 4 to 6 fingers. I personally use 6 fingers, but it's fine if you use 4, 5, even 3. But you want to tap through text quickly by using both hands to tap through text constantly. So, like this. This also speeds up when both Dave and Penny come on screen. So anyways, tap through that text. Go through this. Then don't tap while the dandelion's on screen, because it kind of makes the game lag a little bit. Give Peter the plant food here after tapping through text. Get plant food. Then the level starts. So one thing you should know, at the beginning of every level, you want to hit the fast forward button as soon as possible, because obviously fast forward will make the game go faster. So you want to be aiming for right next to the pause button, but not too far to the left, because then you'll have a chance of accidentally clicking the obtain more coins. But you don't want to, of course, be too far to the right, because then you'll accidentally tap the pause button. But anyways, so starting up, hit fast forward. Now, immediately, you're going to want to give Peter a plant food, plant a sun food, then give Sunflower a plant food. This is because we're going to be using Cabbage Pult to get through most of the wave. So then collect plant food, plant a Cabbage Pult, and then use the plant food on the next wave. Now, I didn't really show it off very well here, but each zombie, when they first spawn, they will, of course, limp onto screen. When it comes to timing Cabbage Pult plant food, you want to do it right as they do their second limp. Because if you do it when they only have done one limp, then it won't make contact. So you want to make sure you don't use your plant food, or your cabbage plant food, until they've done at least 2 limps. So there, wait until they do 2 limps. Use a plant food to kill that cone head with pea shooter, and use another pea shooter plant food. Then use Cabbage Pult to kill the final wave, grab map. That's level 1. Now you want to click continue. And for this screen, when it comes to tapping, what I do is I have one finger constantly tapping on the Ancient Egypt logo, while I have 3 fingers off to the side to quickly tap through text. But you want to stop tapping with this finger, with the hand that you're not having directly on the Ancient Egypt, before you get through all the text, so you don't accidentally click on Pirate Seas. So, something like that. Oh, there. You want to take your hand off before something like that can happen. So anyways, enter Ancient Egypt. Do the same thing here. Now we're into level 2. Tap that text. Buy this. Do not use that plant food on anything before the level starts. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but it's been something that's happened in the past to multiple runners, so don't use that plant food yet. Anyways, just wait until the level starts. So, plant food. Oh, fast forward. Two struts. And then, okay. So it didn't happen this time, but something that can occasionally happen on level 2 is you see that cone head right there. Occasionally, you'll do just a little bit less damage than necessary to make the next wave spawn fast. This is called Unlucky Conehead. It loses about 8 seconds on average, and there isn't really anything to do about it. So, if you don't see that sandstorm message appear near instantly after you use a plant food on that wave with the 2 regular zombies and Conehead, I'd recommend just resetting. If it's your first run, then you can continue on. That's just 8 seconds you can save later, in later attempts. But if you're like doing attempts after your first few runs, I'd recommend just resetting if you get Unlucky Conehead. But anyways, pick up plant food. Then you want to place a potato mine. Oh, you want to place a potato mine after the Conehead leaves the tile in the in the front column. Now, something I've noticed other runners do is use a cabbage plant full food on the second sandstorm. Don't do this. This is a instant time loss. You always want to use the cabbage plant food on the 3rd sandstorm zombie, because otherwise you're just losing time. Because if you use it on the 3rd sandstorm zombie, that will make the final wave immediately happen. So don't use cabbage pole until the 3rd sandstorm zombie comes up. Anyways, now you see that zombie in the top row that just came on screen. That zombie can take anywhere from about half a second to like 2 full seconds to come on screen, generally. Or more like 1.5. But you do not want to use your cabbage pole until that zombie in the top row, not the raw zombie, the regular zombie, until it comes on screen and does its 2 struts. Because then, if you don't do that, you're just losing time. So anyways, cabbage plant food. And grab it. And that's level 2. Now we get to level 3, which is one of the big RNG. It's probably the biggest part of RNG in at least free-to-play. In Pure's free-to-play, it's different, but in free-to-play, this level is the most RNG-based. But anyways, enter the level, tap through text. Alright. So there's a few strategies that can be done on level 3. Some more risky than others. I will show the most consistent and most safe strat for like beginners, and then later I'll show you what I do that's more risky, but has more time save potential. Oh, and one more thing about level 3 is that you never want to get a walnut. Walnuts are an instant time loss that if you get, especially if you get 2 walnuts, I'd recommend just resetting right there. 1 walnut, sometimes that can be salvaged, but if you get 2 walnuts, there's almost no hope. But anyways, fast forward. So, when it comes to placing bloomerangs in this level, normally I go for the 3rd column. It doesn't matter too much except for 1 bloomerang if you do a riskier strat. But generally speaking, I put them in the 3rd column. You can put them wherever you want as long as they're safe from sandstorm zombies. But anyways, so for the safe strat, you want to be placing the first there. Wait for this zombie to get killed. Use the plant food on the regular bloomerang to cause the next wave spawn. We're kind of just cruising. Not really much to say here. Use a plant food on the cone head to make things go faster. Now, if you get an extra, if you're using the safe strat and you get an extra bloomerang, right before the final wave, I'd recommend putting it in the front column, middle row, to do what I'm doing here, which is much faster than normally doing it. So grab that. Now, if you look in the bottom right corner, you'll see these little prompts come up. If you tap on them, they'll disappear quicker. I know people don't really do that, so you want to do that. Now, we get to the hardest trick in the entire run, known as upgrade skip. Now, what upgrade skip is skipping the pea shooter upgrade by tapping on a sunflower before Penny's text stops. This saves a total of 4 seconds. And so this is something, what I'm about to show you, I would not recommend you do until, like, you're at a high level of play. So, until you're in, like, say, the 730 range, I would not recommend going for what I'm about to show you. But I'll show you it because it is a strat that's done in the world record. But just know it only saves 4 seconds, so don't worry about getting it, especially on your first few runs. So, tap through text, and before you go into the alchemist, or after you click on the alchemist tile, you want to be immediately tapping in the area where the sunflower icon is when you get into the alchemist. So, get into the alchemist. Okay, so I missed it, so I'm going to go back and try to execute it for you, since... Okay, I missed it. I'm going to try to do it 2 more times. If I don't hit it, then I'll just move on. Okay, I did it. So, that's upgrade skip for you. It saves 4 seconds, so I'd not recommend doing it on your first few runs, especially since it's much harder than any other strat. But anyways, enter level 4. So you want to fast forward right away because it actually speeds up the hand a little bit as well. So there's that. Now for Power Snow, to do it fast, you just want to swipe your finger across it like shown in the demonstration. There's not really a different way to do it than that to do it fast. So anyways, power toss. Ba bing ba boom. Same thing with power zap. Not really anything special. You want to use Power Snow because it's just the best for taking out zombies when you don't need to worry about money. So anyways, for the final wave, it is possible to do it with only one power toss. And you want to use power toss on the final wave because if you use a power toss on a zombie and it's the last zombie, it will instantly spawn the iceberg lettuce, which is faster than doing it with, say, power snow or lightning. You can do it in only one power toss, but I've only seen it been done twice by myself and second place runner Cavdrat. So I would not, but just know it is possible to do it in just one power toss, but you need to like be really good at using it. But anyways, power toss, just kind of swipe, 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 grab iceberg glass. That's why power toss is better. But anyways, click continue. There's nothing really to say in this screen, just kind of, tap through text. Collect that stuff. Not really much to say there. And entering level 5. So as I said before, I'm going to first do this in Pure Free-to-Play. But when it comes to plan selections, it doesn't matter. Well, in Free-to-Play, it doesn't matter that much. As long as you grab Cabbage Pulp, Pea Shooter, and Potato Mine. But in Pure's Free-to-Play, you want to grab Sunflower, Cabbage, Pea Shooter, Potato Mine. And really, those are the only 4 that matter in both Free-to-Play and Pure's Free-to-Play. The other 2 don't matter as much. I'll just take Iceberg Glass and Walnut. But generally speaking, it doesn't really matter what plants you take outside of the top 4. So, on Pure's Free-to-Play, you want to place a sun and hope that you get good sun RNG. Place a Cabbage Pulp there to attack that zombie. You want to place a Potato Mine in the row I just placed. You want to place a Potato Mine where I just placed it. Because after this raw zombie wave, there is going to be a bucket head in that row. And you want to use a Potato Mine to kill that bucket head quickly. You do not, if you get good sun RNG, and like have enough to plant both a cabbage and potato mine, like right away for the raw zombie wave, don't plant the cabbage pulp before the potato mine, because otherwise the potato mine will be eaten. So plant the potato mine and then maybe wait like half a second to plant the cabbage pulp, if you have the sun for it, like quickly enough. But anyways, plant the cabbage to do damage to the raw zombie. Place a cabbage there to kill that regular zombie. Place a potato mine there in the top row to kill a conehead on a later wave. Then you want to use pea shooter plant food there. And you kind of want to start preparing for, that's the worst. That is the worst lane the conehead can spawn in Purest Free-to-Play, by the way. Since you don't want to be planning your defenses there, but it happened, and I can't really do much about it. But anyways, you want to start getting prepared for the final wave. You want to plant cabbages to do more damage. You want to place a potato mine for the bucket head that spawns in the middle row in the final wave. Use cabbage plant food to do that. Use a pea shooter plant food in the top row. And then just kind of wipe out the last few zombies. Not much to say there. And now we've obtained the map for the final level. Now we come to level 6, which in Purest Free-to-Play is a very big RNG spot. I'll try to explain as much as I can, but I'm at the mercy of RNG. But anyways, so fast forward. You want to wait for the first zombie to spawn before you plant your cabbage pole. So it does damage. So there's not really much to say in the beginning, outside of just start to plant defenses. Now, once the bucket head spawns, you want to use plant a potato mine. You can use potato mine plant food, but if you want to be really fast, but especially earlier on, I'd recommend not really doing that. Use a cabbage pole plant food here. Actually, you don't really want to use one on this wave in Pierce Free to Play. The reason for that is this camel zombie is very annoying because it's very large, so you need to wait for it to come on screen enough to do enough damage to make the next wave spawn faster. Use a plant food to make the next wave spawn, since the bucket head doesn't contribute as much as it normally would. Just kind of not much to say. Once this bucket head spawns, you want to use a potato mine plant food to kill it fast. Start using your cabbage plant food. Now you want to try to save 2 potato mines that's perfect. I can show you the Gargantuar quick kill. So just use plant food to take out waves fast. You want to place an iceberg lettuce in that row. Plant potato mine plant food, and then potato mine plant food. And that's World Keys Purest Free to Play. And now I'll show you what to do in level 5 and 6 when doing just regular doing free to play. So now we go back to level 5. And as said before, it doesn't really matter what plants you take outside of sunflower. Well, in free-to-play, the only ones that matter are actually cabbage, pea shooter, and potato mine. But I'd say still take sunflower, because then the message asking you if you want to take a sunflower will pop up if you don't take it. But outside of those 4, it doesn't really matter. So let's start the level. Alright. Now, you want to wait for the zombie to go on screen. Use a power lightning to kill both the regular zombie and the raw zombie. You want to plant a cabbage there. Use lightning to kill the buckethead. Use a power lightning to kill those. Then use a cabbage pult plant food there. Power lightning. Plant foods. Power lightning. Future plant food. And that is level 5. It's pretty simple in Purest Free to Play. Level 6, on the other hand, is a very complicated level in Free to Play. So I'm going to try to explain it in the best way I can. So, let's go. So, your placement of plants isn't as important. Now, on the first zombie, you're going to want to use your power lightning, but you want to wait for it to do 2 struts onto screen, because if you do it too early, then the cone head won't spawn quickly, and you may not be able to kill it with 1 power lightning. So, 2 struts. I actually got the cone head there, surprisingly enough, but Oh, I got battered. I didn't. Actually, that kind of worked out in the end. Because I still got... But anyways, plant food. Then use a power lightning there to take out the camel zombie. And then you want to use a power lightning to kill this buckethead. Wait until now to use the cabbage plant food. Actually, wait a little bit longer than I did. Another cabbage plant food. Power lightning here to kill that buckethead. Then use a cabbage plant food there. Another cabbage plant food here. And then just start going ham with your power lightnings if you still have them. Now, I didn't get another... I got bad RNG here, but if you... That wasn't a very good demonstration of level 6, and since I didn't have the, what's it called? I didn't have 2 potato mines on the final wave, but that's kind of how you want to do level 6 in free-to-play. So yeah. And now I want to go back and show you an alternative strat on level 3 that is more risky but can save some time. That I personally do myself. So, start the level, and then you want to place a bloomerang in the front row. And I'll show you why in a minute. And use a plant food on that bloomerang instead. Instantly activates it compared to before. Now the risk that can come from this is if a sandstorm zombie spawns directly on the bloomerang, then the bloomerang won't be able to do any damage to it, so that bloomerang is basically screwed. So generally speaking, I'd only recommend using this strat when you're at top level, since it is quite risky, and it only saves like maybe 2 to 3 seconds. But anyways. So, and then most of the levels play the same. You want to use a plant food to quickly kill Conehead there with the middle bloomerang. And then, you know, it's basically the same as before from that point. But anyways, that's the alternate level 3 strat that's kind of risky. But anyways, that's about it for World Keys. Both free-to-play and pure free-to-play. Hopefully this is, like, helpful for newer runners. But anyways, that's about it. Goodbye.